We've been following the ClimateGate scandal this week. If you haven't heard about it, you ain't alone. Mainstream media refuses to cover it. Emails hacked from England's leading climate data hub show that researchers behind the global warming hysteria, they're just cooking the books. If you're not outraged, you should be. $145 trillion is what the solution's going to cost us. Their end goal is more than just getting you to change a light bulb. It's redistribution of wealth. Jonah Goldberg is here. He is the editor of Large National Review Online, a columnist with the LA Times, Fox contributor, and the writer of a book that will absolutely open your eyes onto what's going on, liberal fascism. Welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
Hey, Glenn, great to be back.
Good. Tell me, ClimateGate. Give me the one thing that you, as you're looking into it, you go, wow, people should pay attention to this one thing.
Well, you know, the news that so many people are scamming and conniving behind the scenes to exploit the global warming hysteria is not shocking. It's the evidence. Very rarely do you have a conspiracy where there's actual evidence like this. And let me be clear, I don't think that this debunks the whole idea of global warming. But what it does debunk is the idea that there are these pure, gifted, wonderful scientists riding around on unicorns just trying to say the divine truth. You know, I mean, for several years now,
there's always been full knowledge. There are billions, if not trillions of dollars to be made on this.
That's right.
145 trillion is what it's going to cost their solution. Trillions of dollars at stake. So somebody is making money off of this.
That's right. And for years, anyone who criticized global warming was accused of being bought and paid for by the polluting industry and whatnot, while these enlightened objective scientists, you know, were beyond reproach. It was like Bill Murray in Ghostbusters, where he says, "Back off, man, I'm a scientist." You know, you couldn't criticize the scientists.
Right.
And by definition, if you're a scientist, you had to agree with it. But there are companies like GE that have literally billions of dollars at stake, could go under if we don't get something like cap and trade passed.
Okay.
And they're always considered benign and progressive when they talk about global warming.
Okay, so here we have scientists cooking the books, changing the research, changing the numbers, changing the actual temperatures, discrediting people in email, saying how do we discredit them, how do we make them go away, et cetera, et cetera. You have all of that.
And getting people fired. I mean, truly, they got people fired for coming up with contrary evidence that they didn't like to hear.
Okay, so you have all of that. Let me play something from the president's inaugural speech. Is this what he means? Go ahead, play this.
We will restore science to its rightful place.
I mean, faking numbers, discrediting people, getting them fired, cooking the books, is that where science is supposed to be?
Yeah, for the last 8 years, we heard that whenever George Bush did something that ran against the grain of the progressive tide, that there was a war on science, that Republicans and the right despised science. And here we're seeing a lot of people who clearly don't care first and foremost about the science. They care first and foremost about the agenda and how to frame the agenda. And if the science gets in the way, then you're going to have to shoot the messenger. Okay. And it's a huge indictment.
Jonah, I've got to go, but I would like to have you back because next week he's going to Copenhagen and everything else. And this is the last real shot I think the world has on this global warming thing. It's coming apart at the seams, and I'd like to talk to you about that on what's going to be done. Are they just going to go for it and jam it down our throats? Will it survive or not? We'll be back in just a moment.